What celebrity tanked their own career and what's the story behind it? Rick Moranis, the guy from Ghostbusters, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Spaceballs, etc. Not because he did anything wrong. He left Hollywood and let his career die because his wife died from cancer and he decided to focus on raising his kids. Stand-up guy. Hope he's doing well. He just cut back and chose smaller projects and voice work so he could raise his kids in his hometown. Unfortunately, not Chris Brown. It always amazes me that even after he beat Rihanna he was still one of the most popular musicians. It's cause it got vastly understated like it was just one smack. It was in reality bad enough to require hospitalization and he got away with it. TJ Miller. Dude had a brain tumor removed a while back, taking out part of his brain, and then he got arrested for calling in a fake bomb threat in 2018. Absolutely nuked his career. I love Silicon Valley and it just wasn't the same after he left. In saying that, I much prefer him as an actor versus seeing him do stand-up. I was living in DC and TJ Miller was on the local morning radio show to promote his weekend run of shows. I'd known who he was but had never seen his stand-up. He had me absolutely pissing myself and I immediately bought tickets for his show. He was good for the first 5 minutes and then some girl in the crowd said, "Womp womp." And he spent the next 55 minutes focusing on her and bitching about hecklers and rude people. It was funny at first, but after a few minutes it got uncomfortable and a little sad. DMX. For those too young to remember, he was huge in the 90s and early 2000s with multiple top albums and songs on the Billboard rap charts. He had trouble with the law, guns, drugs, animal cruelty, his whole life. In 2004 though, he had multi-platinum success and was still relevant and touring regularly. He was supposed to catch a flight from JFK to a concert where he was performing. He never made it to the plane. Instead, he got super high on crack, pulled the random guy out of his car in the parking lot, claimed to be a federal agent, and stole the guy's car. He left behind his own, far more expensive, vehicle. Edit. Thanks to everyone who posted DMX stories, anecdotes, or anything. I wish he was our president right now. If I had nickel for every time I fell asleep on the 2 train listening to It's Dark and Hell is Hot, and woke up in Wakefield, I would have at least 15 cents. What's my name? Sounds more like X gonna take it from ya. Jesse Smollett. Edit. Wow, apparently even saying his name now gets people in a tizzy. Juicy Smoley. Michael Richards played one of the most iconic TV comedy roles as Kramer on Seinfeld. Post-Seinfeld, during a stand-up routine, fans were taunting him and he went on a racially charged rant dropping the N-word. It was recorded and his career was absolutely toast after that. Asterisk. Dave Chappelle standing in front of the Laugh Factory logo. Asterisk. Every time I see this backdrop, I think of Kramer fucking up. Katherine Heigl is famous for being a massive bitch who no one wants to work with. I think she managed to piss off everyone in Grey's Anatomy, so they wrote her character off. Same with the entire cast of Knocked Up. She went from being huge in 2007-08 to being a ghost now. Mel Gibson famously torpedoed his career in 2004 to 2006 with multiple anti-Semitic and racist outbursts and such. He went from being a massive fucking star in the 90s to being persona non grata for like 0.10 plus years. He's still not back to where he was now. Lauryn Hill has famously destroyed her career since the early 2000s after the Fugees made it big. She went solo with one of the biggest debut albums ever, and then frequent diva behavior has made her the ultimate has-been. Mel Gibson is super successful again. He just switched to directing and low-key has made a couple great ones. Jerry Lee Lewis, arguably one of the founders of rock and roll, managed to completely destroy his career just by getting married. Oh, by the way, he married his first cousin. Once removed. She was 13. He was 22. It was his third marriage. Of an eventual 7. This one lasted 13 years until she filed for divorce, citing that she had been subject to every type of physical and mental abuse imaginable. When his wife moved out of her parents' home and joined Lewis on tour, she brought her dollhouse. Each that gave me sudden onset heebie-jeebies. Her parents had to give consent to the marriage. Her father was Lewis' bass player, and Lewis threatened to fire him if he didn't sign off on it. Lindsay Lohan, anyone? I wonder what her life would have been like had her parents not been so fucking awful. Dina and Michael Lohan were like stage parents on steroids. Combine that with how Hollywood apparently treats young women, especially ones that look like her, and God only knows what kind of messy road she had to go down before she was even an adult. 2004 Lohan was so damn hot, and then blew up her career with Torpedo covered in cocaine. That was also filled with cocaine. This is who came to my mind instantly. And Amanda Bynes. Chevy Chase. The man has had endless opportunities on both movies and TV, and yet he is consistently regarded by his peers as an unrelenting asshole. SNL cast hates working with and around him. Jon Lovitz, Will Ferrell, etc. The kids from Community. Well, adult actors and actresses who played college kids on the show have come out and said he was the hardest on set to work with. I just don't see how someone can have so many opportunities to be at least halfway decent, and always manage to find a way to be the biggest asshole in whatever room he was in. I wouldn't say he tanked his career at all. He has been a noted asshole since the 70s. But he has still been in massively popular things all the way up until Community. O.J. Simpson. I like how every post on this thread has an explanation except this one. None needed. Amanda Bynes. She had an early success in her acting career and retired at age 24 because she had a downward spiral. Entirely fell off the entertainment industry. Didn't she have some kind of severe mental health issues though? I think it's either bipolar or dissociative identity disorder, but I could be wrong. I think I've read it was one of those. Somewhere. Like it was so serious. Her parents had to take conservatorship of her to keep her from going any farther off the rails. Which, if that was the case, then her tanking her career wasn't her fault. Mental health issues can be hell. For sure. It may have already been said in here, but Macaulay Culkin. Home Alone. And honestly I think it's a good story. He was just tired of being a child star and wanted a normal life. While some people make fun of how he looks now, he's just living life and having fun. He has a band called Pizza Underground where they sing about pizza and tell jokes. I just think it's good to see some of the celebrities that tanked, but for good reasons. I'm glad he's enjoying life on his own terms, but it's kind of a shame he doesn't seem interested in acting anymore. He was incredible alongside Seth Green in Party Monster. But that movie is damn near 20 years old at this point. Paul Rubens, aka Pee Wee Herman. The wholesome fun for the whole family entertainer. He was caught fapping in a porno cinema back in the day when they had porno cinemas. Why did he not get porno videos like everyone else back then? Before the internet, Amber Heard for being an abusive spouse and lying by making Johnny Depp look like the abuser in this relationship. I don't understand how someone so evil and hypocrite can sleep at night. Her first accusations were 3 years ago and he's still dealing with the legal crap. Imagine the woman who sliced your finger off managing to steal another 3 years of your life, while turning the entire country against you. And when the truth finally comes out, you're still the one losing work for it? I'm surprised nobody has mentioned the Dixie Chicks getting themselves basically blacklisted from country music after criticizing Bush. It didn't help going on Stern's show and admitting that they only played country because their non-country music before that was not making them money. So they switched to country. This is what happens in many genres with many acts. The mistake is admitting it. Taylor Lautner, he disappeared off the face of the planet after Twilight. IRC the movies he was in after didn't do well either. Also doesn't help that he's a woeful fucking actor. I thought he was pretty funny in Cuckoo, but I guess that's not really a huge role. Orlando Brown turned crackhead former Disney star. For a split second there I was like, wait, Legolas does crack. Yeah, I also misread Brown as Bloom for a second, felt my heart break lol. CeeLo, he said there was nothing wrong with spiking women's drinks, and posted on Twitter that it doesn't count as rape if she was asleep and couldn't say no. Definitely the judges who bullied the contestant on X Factor New Zealand. That outburst was just so bizarre. The guy shows up with maybe the most common men's haircut and wears a navy blue suit, and she says he's stealing her husband's look. WTF. There are millions of guys who wear that exact combo every single day lol. Yeah, and her husband was really a nobody. He has one song that Apple used for an ad. It's not inconceivable that the contestant didn't even know who her husband was before he went on the show. Natalia kills her career. Can't believe no one has said Azealia Banks yet. 212 was like audacious, groundbreaking shit. Sadly she is known for her numerous Twitter spats rather than her music. I personally feel like she might have EUPD, which went untreated. Combine that with growing up in the spotlight and having an online platform to be very reactive on, and arguments ensued. But like, could 212 have been written by a medicated Banks? I don't know. It's a very unique, ballsy song. This was the one I was going to say. I know a lot of people only remember Lana promising to fight Azealia during their Twitter feud, but the tweet I remember the most is the one where Lana said, "Banks, you could have been the greatest female rapper alive but you blew it." It's sad and true. Anyways, I'm still listening to Banks. I'm not gonna deny me some good music. VC, she's mouthy while most people are still listening to Chris Brown's bad music even though he's abusive. Edit. It appears this comment uploaded multiple times. I deleted them, but I apologize for the extra scrolling some of y'all had to do. Kevin Spacey. He was raping underage boys long ago and it came back to bite him in the ass when one of his victims stepped forward and accused him of the crime. Since then I don't think he's been in a show or movie, and one of his shows on Netflix was cancelled, I believe. And remember the creepy fucking video he released after the accusations? Fucked up, where he tried to defend himself as Frank Underwood, a character written to be heinous. It pissed me off that he tried to use coming out of the closet as a distraction when this all went down. It was bracing to see pretty much the entirety of the LGBTQ community give him a hard lashing for it. Like, nah, you do not get to use this as a distraction from the sick shit you did. Quote, Monique. She refused to participate in campaigning for an Oscar after she was nominated for her role in Precious. It started a feud of sorts with the director, Lee Daniels, which led to her being blackballed. Or so she claims. She hasn't really worked again since winning an Oscar, which is pretty odd. Also, she got in a feud with Oprah, which you don't do if you want to survive in Hollywood. Oprah is a bitch. I'm from Chicago and work in the service industry. She's the ultimate diva. Runs servers and shop workers around. Tries to get people fired if they don't acquiesce to her whims quickly enough. And never tips. That's what I heard about her too. She forgot her roots long ago. I don't know why people still worship her. Yeah, the only people that like her are middle-aged women who think she's some kind of angel that helps everyone. In reality, she's a backstabbing snake. As someone who recently turned 50, those Oprah-worshipping women are all no longer middle-aged. They've moved on to senior status. I don't know any of my current peers who like her. We're all aware of Charlie Sheen, although still a legend, topped the cake of ruining it all within a brief moment. He couldn't keep his dick in his pants, and his addiction spiraled quick. According to Corey Feldman, he raped Corey Hi Monsieur. Elizabeth Berkley killed her career with Showgirls. No one could take her seriously after that. That pool sex scene, lol. You mean the scene where she's having a grand mal seizure on the dude's dick? Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.